In the race for the road poneglyphs, Blackbeard is behind Luffy as he only knows the location of 2 of them, whereas the one hidden on Zunisha's back guarded by the minks is still safe from Blackbeard's grasp. But the final poneglyph is the mystery everyone is trying to uncover, rumored to be guarded by the Navy, which makes the most sense because in 800 years no one except Roger was able to find the One Piece, and the only way that the Navy can guarantee that no one will solve the puzzle is if they keep one of the pieces for themselves. This would also explain why the Navy never bothered to individually hunt down the Yonko by invading their territories, because they knew that if they wanted to actually find the One Piece, then the Navy itself was the final obstacle to overcome. Another reason why all of Roger's pirates were hunted down is also because they knew the location of the final poneglyph. Buggy, who became the first Yonko by accident, should know of this location then, and all the jokes around the Navy overestimating him could be disproved, because as we have seen with Nico Robin, a bounty isn't placed solely on your fighting ability but also on the threat level that you pose to the world government. The man with the burn scar is rumored to be Dragon, but that makes no sense because he has no reason to support the world government and is literally the chief of the army that rebels against them. However, what does make sense in that theory is the ability of this man to make whirlpools, and Dragon's devil fruit can allow him to do this as we have seen him manipulate the weather. Another theory is the existence of the water fruit, which is not weak to the sea, but this doesn't fit in with the laws of One Piece, so I believe that this theory is a little far-fetched. But one I could be convinced is that from the worst generation, the only one we haven't seen at all is Mad Monk Uruch, who is from the Sky Islands. I'm willing to bet that Oda saved the best for last, and it would make sense that one of the gods of Skypiea is the man with the burn scar, and since we saw an awakening of the sun god through Luffy, it's quite possible that other characters that have already been introduced to reawaken their devil fruits. Uruch's scars are not prominent enough or resemble a burn mark for him to be the mystery man, but saying he plays a vital role in discovering him is a very distinct possibility. This may be a stretch, but the return of Enel is very much due soon, and it just makes sense for him to join the crew of one of his gods. It must be remembered that this mystery man who sails a ship that big is bound to have an entire crew. The fact that Kuzan, who was literally in the army for so many years and at one point was one of their most trustworthy officers, having been trained by Garp himself, had no idea the existence of this man. And also keep in mind, he was one of the officers sent to Ohara via the Buster Call. At the time, Kuzan may have been lying as he had no reason to spill some of the biggest secrets of the Navy to the first pirate he met, as he still has his resolve as a Navy officer. In fact, that Jinbei not knowing about this figure and the Straw Hats finding out through Captain Kidd at the end of Wano is puzzling, since the road poneglyph is the one that was stolen from Fishman Island, so it makes sense that if Jinbei had some knowledge about it. To steal a road poneglyph from Big Mom's territory and not face any repercussions is truly hard to believe, so it does make sense that it was stolen when it was under Whitebeard's rule. Since if Big Mom had possession of 2 poneglyphs, then she would have kept both of them in Whole Cake Island for greater safety. There's a theory made by a popular YouTuber that Whitebeard hid the road poneglyph on his island, Sphinx, and whilst this theory is certainly plausible, it's very risky as it places all the people on that island under a lot of risk, as it's quite known in the pirate world and was even invaded by the Marines once. So leaving the last poneglyph in such an unguarded location isn't such a smart idea. Also, since Mako is the only one present to guard it and many of the bigger crews can quite capably fend off Mako, while one person makes markings out of the poneglyph, which isn't a challenging task at all. Whitebeard doesn't strike me as the type of person who would leave behind such a burden to his sons, as he preached to all of them about having their own freedom to live the way they please. All the puzzles in One Piece are finally being pieced together, and the Navy, being the true puppet master, is finally being exposed, so we will see the final battles for supremacy takes place just like Doflamingo predicted in his great speech. Subscribe for more.